Hey guys, welcome back to Buzzer2Buzzer. All right, guys, so the 11th week of the 2020 NFL season is among us, and boy, oh boy, we got some great matchups, some tough matchups to predict. But per the usual, we're going to be going over our top 5 key matchups. Without any further ado, let's get to it. First game which we're going to be predicting is going to be the one between the Green Bay Packers and the Indianapolis Colts. Now, guys, the Packers are currently sitting at a 7-2 record, and I think this is going to be a close game. We got Philip Rivers on one side, and we got Aaron Rodgers on the other. Our thoughts for this game?
This is my upset of the week right here. I'm going to go with the Packers to win this game. I think the Packers are much more talented than the Colts on the offensive side of the ball. Packers have one of the best O-lines, Devontae Adams and obviously Aaron Rodgers. I think they get it done on the offensive end to win this game.
I'm going to have to disagree with you, Arian. All season, the Packers' biggest weakness has been stopping the run. And the Colts have been known for their great offensive line and how they've had a great running back by community with Nyheim Hines and Jonathan Taylor. And throughout the season, we've seen that Philip Rivers is the worst point on their team, and he's playing at an average and serviceable level. So they're going to attack with the run game, and especially due to the Packers' incompetence in stopping the run, I see an easy win for the Colts here.
In the past 4 or 5 weeks, the Packers haven't really had a tough matchup that we would consider. I think they've had all easy matchups with that upset to the Vikings. So this is going to be like a huge test for their offense. And I think we've talked about this in the previous weeks. The Packers, they usually play how their opponent plays. Like they match their game. They don't really perform above or beyond how the other team performs. And with the Colts, that I think they're going to put on a show, like what Harsh said. So that being said, I think I'm also going to have to go with the Colts. The Colts just have a great team right now. We saw what they did with the Titans last week. Titans also have a great offense, and they kind of shut them down. It's definitely going to be a close game, but I think the Colts are going to edge out the Packers on this one.
All right, yeah, exactly. You got to go same with you. Although I don't think it's going to be a blowout, I for sure think the Colts can edge out this game. And there's 2 reasons why. Firstly, I feel like that if the Colts O-line can protect Philip Rivers in the pocket, Philip Rivers is going to be throwing dimes, and their O-line is going to get things rolling right away. And also, Aaron Rodgers hasn't faced a good defense since the Buccaneers when he got blown out. I feel like this is going to be his first actual test after that matchup, and I feel like they're not going to be prepared, and the Colts can edge this game out. All right, guys, so the next game matchup, which we're going to be predicting for this 11th week of the 2020 NFL season, is the one between the Las Vegas Raiders and the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, guys, the Chiefs have only experienced 1 loss this season, that being against the Raiders. And in fact, the Chiefs are still favored to win this game by a heavy 8-point margin. Our thoughts on this game?
I don't think the 8-point margin really surprises me. The first time the Chiefs played the Raiders, I'm guessing it was a fluke. The Raiders, they are a good team. Don't get me wrong. They have been winning a lot of games, but to beat the Kansas City Chiefs with that high scoring game, I don't think it's going to happen again. So obviously, I'm going to have to go with the Chiefs on this one.
I think this game comes down to stopping Patrick Mahomes. We know he's the best player, best quarterback in the league. We know that offense is probably the best in the league. And so to stop a team like that, you're going to have to, put a strong defensive effort. But with the whole defense of the Vegas Raiders being on the COVID list, it's hard to get good practice because preparation is key against Patrick Mahomes, and failure to attend practice because of COVID is something that they're going to struggle with.
Absolutely agree. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in football right now. And given the situation with the Raiders defense on COVID list, I mean, there's nothing you could really do. He's going to tear that defense apart. I expect it to be a blowout win for the Chiefs.
Exactly, guys. I think that'll be like you said, it was a fluke game. Patrick Mahomes, man, don't expect him to lose this game again. I feel like, especially harsh, like you mentioned, the COVID-19 protocol is going to hurt the Raiders a ton. And I feel like this week is going to be a blowout by the Chiefs, and Patrick Mahomes is about to be firing away. All right, guys, and the third game which we'll be predicting for this week is going to be the one between the Los Angeles Rams and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, guys, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are sitting at a 7-3 record, and I think we can all agree this is going to be a great defensive matchup on Monday night. Our thoughts on this game?
I expect the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win this game. I think it's going to be a very, very close game, but I don't trust Jared Goff in big situations. He's played good defenses before, and he hasn't played extremely well. I expect the Buccaneers defense to get turnovers and Brady to capitalize on those turnovers.
I also want to go with the Buccaneers because the Rams, the Buccaneers team in general, their O-line, for example, we saw that the Seahawks have a strong offense and their O-line is horrible and the Rams tore that down. The Rams won't have the opportunity, I think, against the Buccaneers O-line. Plus, our Buccaneers defense is, I would consider a top 10 potentially. And yeah, when Tom Brady, I think he's just obviously more talented than Jared Goff. Even against the Seahawks defense we saw. I mean, like, I'm not saying the Rams defense didn't do a lot, but the Rams offense against the Seahawks defense, like, they didn't score an insane amount of points. It wasn't crazy high or anything like that. And they're going to need to against the Buccaneers, but I don't think they will, which is why I'm gonna have the slight edge to the Buccaneers.
So this pick is going to be my upset of the week. I'm going to pick the Rams here to beat the Buccaneers, and I want to look at the 3 losses the Buccaneers have had this year. Twice to the Saints and one to the Bears. And all 3 of those games, they've played a very good defense in those teams. And it's not the defense that caused it; it's the mental mistakes of the offensive line. We saw last year in New England and this year in their losses when Tom Brady's O-line makes a lot of mental mistakes and gives up sacks and flags. We see that Tom Brady struggles to get the offense going. And again, when you're going against a good defense and you're going against Aaron Donald and Leonard Floyd coming from both sides, they're going to struggle to keep up with that, and they're going to make mental mistakes like they have before, and I think they're going to lose this game.
I think it's going to be more of a game which is going to be low scoring. But at the end of the day, Tom Brady's going to walk out with a win at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Am I not going to acknowledge that they got Aaron Donald? The Rams defense got Aaron Donald. They got Darius Williams? No. But do I feel like the Tom Brady is going to get a win somehow this week? Absolutely. And it comes down to Tom Brady versus Jared Goff. I feel like the moves which he can bust out are overpowering Jared Goff's moves. And at the end of the day, it's going to allow the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win, but by a slight margin. All right, guys, and the next game which we're predicting for this week is going to be the one between the Tennessee Titans and the Baltimore Ravens. Now, guys, both teams are currently sitting at 6-3 record, and the Ravens are favored to win this game. Harsh, I'm going to get started off with you. Your thoughts on this game?
The Titans have been on a skid as recently. We're dropping a lot of games, most recently to the Colts, and they, again, had a poor offensive performance against the Bears, but they still pulled out a victory. Regardless, the Titans offense is nowhere where it was earlier in the season, and the Baltimore Ravens defense is no joke. They're going to stop them again. This probably will be the last game of the Titans skid, but they're still going to drop this game to the Ravens.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with the Ravens on this one, like Harsh. You said, their defense, their offense, they're just a very balanced team. I think that's one of their strong points. Yeah, Lamar Jackson has his off game sometimes. Sometimes the defense needs to carry him. But like Harsh, what you said about the Titans, they have been a bit inconsistent the past couple of weeks. Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry, and this is no joke against the defense. They've played worse defenses and done pretty bad. So against the Ravens defense, which is top 3 in the league, I don't know. I think they might struggle a bit, and I'm gonna have to edge it out to the Ravens.
For sure. I can't agree more. Ravens, I think the Ravens running game is what's going to win them this game. The Titans defense we saw, they're not really that good. And I think the Ravens run game is really going to help them win this game.
Exactly. Got to give credit where the credit's due. I feel like the Baltimore Ravens are going to win this game out. And it's going to be a very close game, just like many of the games this week. And it's because I feel like Lamar Jackson, you got to believe in the man. The Titans coming off of a loss, and the weak O-line they showed last week with Ryan Tannehill being defeated with the other team's pass rush. I feel like this week is going to be a good matchup, but the Ravens will slightly edge out. All right, guys, and the 5th and final matchup, which you all have been waiting for us to predict, that being between the Seattle Seahawks and the Arizona Cardinals. Now, guys, we saw what an incredible game this was a couple weeks ago when the Cardinals beat the Seahawks. Abi, remember some memories from that. But, guys, I think we can all expect this is going to be a great game, but one very difficult to predict. I'm going to start off with our Seahawks fan, Abi.
No, this is going to be quite a shock, actually. And this is the first time I'm going to do this. But
No.
I'm going to have to bet against the Seahawks and choose the Cardinals here. Every week by week, right, I say the Seahawks play a good defense. And I'm like, oh, Russ is going to, I don't know, like surprise people. He's going to, like, even against those great defenses and bad O-line, he's going to do good. But we've seen the past 4 weeks against these good teams, Cardinals, Bills, Rams. Every time they play a good defense, a good pass rush, Russ gets absolutely destroyed. He has 0 time to throw. And obviously the Seahawks defense can't stop the Cardinals offense whatsoever. They're going to get killed every single time they play defense. And I don't know. I really want to get proven wrong. Don't get me wrong. I want the Seahawks to win, obviously. But looking at just like the teams in general, the Cardinals hot streak right now, and the Seahawks obviously losing streak, I think I'm gonna have to give a slight edge to the Cardinals.
All right, man. Abi, how could you not choose the boy Russell Wilson, man? Come on. Okay, so got to acknowledge the facts, right? Russell Wilson's slide for the MVP race, his downfall started with the loss against the Cardinals. Ever since the past 3 weeks, we've seen what's happened. But I honestly feel like that the Arizona Cardinals defense has been put to the test week by week. And I'm going to blame fatigue and say that the Seattle Seahawks barely, but Russell Wilson will find a way because that's just how much I believe in him. That connection between him, DK, and Tyler Lockett. Do I think the defense is going to be a problem? 100%. But do I feel like it's going to be too big of a problem? No. And that's why the Seahawks will win this game.
You know, we all know Pete Carroll is a great coach, and Cliff Kingsbury is nowhere short of his stature. But, you know, he has to prove himself. So, and Pete Carroll, he knows what he's doing in this league. He's been analyzing that Cardinals film game since that game they lost, and he knows exactly where they went wrong, and he knows what he's fixing. Obviously, we know Ken Norton, that defense is complete garbage. There's nothing fixing that. Maybe they'll play slightly better and maybe hold them to like maybe 25 to 30 points instead of 30 to 35. But regardless, Russell Wilson knows what he's doing. What's great about Russell Wilson's team right now in this situation, and the Seahawks, I guess, Russell Wilson's team, they struggle when the team has a good pass rush. The Cardinals, they're known for their secondary and their linebackers. The defensive line is probably the worst part of their defense. So Russell Wilson actually has a chance in the pocket this game. And I truly do believe Russell Wilson will be able to connect with Tyler Lockett like he did last time and lead them to this victory.
I couldn't agree more. I think the Seahawks are going to win this game, partly because of what Harsh just mentioned. I think their pass rush is kind of non-existent. You know, the reason they lost the previous Cardinals game wasn't because of the pass rush. It was because of Russell Wilson's turnovers, the 3 picks they had. I don't think Russ makes 3 picks. I don't think he throws 3 picks again. No way. And I really believe that they'll get DK Metcalf more involved this week. And because of that, wearing those light green jerseys, I really think that they're going to win this game.
Well, there's a first time for everything. And I think today marks the only date this season, November 19th, when all 3 of us have voted for the Seahawks and our Seahawk native has not. All right, guys. Well, it's safe to say we got a bunch of awesome matchups happening the 11th week of the 2020 NFL season. As always, guys, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and comment down below your predictions. Do you think who's going to win in the Seahawks and Cardinals game? We got a bunch of other matchups too. Love hearing what you guys got to say. Take care, guys. Look at you guys on the next one. See you guys.
Thank you.